Hello all. In continuation to what's new in Business Review 2022 Release Wave 1, today we'll be talking about one of an optional feature which is available as of today called check document and journals while you're working on your system. So, as I said, it's an optional feature as of today, but let's understand the idea how you can utilize this feature. So, while a user entering journals or while creating documents, this with this feature enabled, it helps you to prevent errors during posting, as it kind of validates your document as you're typing in those values or on those fields, and gives you visual representation on a fact box saying how many errors you have before you actually can try to post it. So it's kind of a pre-check before you start posting and then ended up with an error message. As I said earlier, as of today, it's an optional feature which will require to be enabled by your administrator using feature management page. And as soon as your administrator enables it, Business Central will start validating the data that you enter on documents and journal while you're working. So that's one, but this feature will not remain optional for a very long time. And once it is turned on by default on each Business Central tenant, there are ways to kind of manage it at a company level or even at a user level. So let's kind of understand how you can enable it today if you would like to use this feature. So the first thing as an administrator you need to do is you need to navigate to a page called feature management. This lists down features which will become default in future, but right now they are optional. And then there's a date that follows it to tell you when it will become an you know non-optional feature. So what we are looking right now here is feature check document and journal while you work. If you move towards right, you will see that in quarter 2 of 2023, this will no longer be part of the feature management and will be enabled by default. But if you would like to use it today, you just need to come here and enable it for all users. Once you do that, the business tells you to kind of log out and sign in again. So let's do a sign out and let's do a sign in again. Once you log out and sign in after enabling that feature, now Business Central will start uh, tracking as you are typing to tell you the errors. So let's take an example of purchase invoices, let's say. So if you are on purchase invoice, you should see a fact box when you try to create a new document on your right hand side, which tells you about the check document feature. So this will check the document as I'll start typing it. What kind of mistakes I'm making. It looks a little bit you know, not fully baked in as of today, but it's pretty useful if you would like to use it. So as soon as I selected the vendor number, I see that there is an issue which says there is nothing to post, which makes sense because there is actually nothing to post. So let's key in a item number. I'll just follow the check document guidelines and let's key in quantity so that there is something to post. So at this moment, there is something to post, but it doesn't auto refresh. So let's hit refresh and says there's nothing to post, which makes no sense because there should be something to post, I think. Okay, there is unit price and all. So let me refresh this again and let's see what it is. Nothing to post, which doesn't actually give me a lot of info right now. But let's try to preview. Oh, so as soon as I went out of that page and came back to that page, the error actually changed or the issue actually changed. Now the issue says that you need to enter the document number of the document from the vendor into the vendor invoice number field, which is missing. And it says here that it's a mandatory field. So I should have entered it, but let's key this in. It doesn't still refresh it, which is a little bit, as I said, Okay, now it's good. So now it says that my document is kind of ready to post. If I have to post it, I can go ahead and post it, or preview post it for that matter. So what happens with this feature is as you start typing, system scans the mandatory fields, the fields which are required by the posting routines, and then tell you what kind of errors are there. As I said, it doesn't automatically refresh. Sometime you might have to go out of that page and come back in, like I went when I created the new document. So I'm pretty sure that Microsoft is working on it to kind of make it more easier to kind of show you or refresh automatically. And then the same feature is also available on your journals. So if you go to your payment journal, let's say, there should be a fact box which is journal check. Right now it says line check 2, line with issue is 0 because I have some lines. Let me change the amount and let's see how the fact box refreshes. So as soon as I change the amount, it tells me that now my document number is out of balance because I just changed the amount. So now when I add the reverse sign, it does balance it out and tell me that there are no problems at this point. So this is how it helps you to kind of uh, track issues or errors that you might have while you're trying to, uh, you know, create your documents and journals. The cool part is, if as a whole company, once the feature becomes, available by default and no longer optional, if you think that you don't want to use it, you can also come to your general ledger setup and you can just disable the date check. So there will be a date check, so which will check the documents and journal while you're working, and then it shows you message on the fact box. So you can just disable it if the whole company doesn't want to use it. But there can be situation where some people in organization do need it and do like it, but then some of you don't like it. And that's also possible that you can just disable it for yourself. For doing that, you will go into my settings as a user and then my notifications, which is change when I receive notification. Just do a search for check, I guess. And here it is, enable date check, which means if I as an experienced user would not like to see the like business central to check my document, then for me I can disable it, but others will have it, right? So that allows that, and then there's a show document checkbox. If you don't like to see the fact box also because you are an experienced user, you can also disable that. So that will remove the fact box that comes with that. So you can control it as company wise, or you can also control it as a user level if you don't like to utilize that feature for that matter. So it's completely configurable per user wise, it's completely configurable as a company wise if you like it or don't like it. But and it helps at least to the new users who don't know the system very much, and it surely helps them to kind of create documents and journals to make sure that they are not making any mistake rather than identifying those at a later stage during posting of those. Yes, I know that there are some refresh issues, but I'm sure they will get fixed in future releases. So let me know, do you think this feature is useful in comment section? Will you be using it? Have you tried it? And do you find something which I was not able to identify and talk about in this video? So do let me know in comment section about all these things, and do share the video and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'll see you in the next video with what's new in 2022 release wave 1. Have a nice day.